Before I come to Canada, I used to watch black and white movies as a kid in Portugal, and I really loved boxing. But there was no way that there was no boxing where I came from the Azores back in the day. And when I came to Canada, I happened to move right the street beside Sully's gym. So I really got interested, and I used to go up and watch the guys spar and train, and I used to sit and watch. And finally one day, Sully come to me and said, "You're here every day. Why don't you train, eh?" So that's how I started. Then I started training, and then start fighting, and that's how I began getting involved with the sport.
Sully's was well known. Everyone in the boxing world knew him all over the United States and Canada and I guess different parts of Europe. And he was a popular guy. It was in Ossington, which was a multicultural environment. And it was a colorful place. Sully was from Mimico. He was a small town guy. And his real name actually was O'Sullivan. Earl O'Sullivan. He was born in Mimico, I think, in 1914. But he changed it later to Sullivan. And then he insisted you call him Sully. Didn't like the name Earl, so people knew him as Sully. Sully was pivotal in the Canadian boxing scene, especially in the 80s and in the 70s, but more likely the 80s, for helping out a lot of young fighters that actually went on after they left him and did very well. He taught a lot of young guys the rudiments of the sport and how to do well in boxing, but he also taught them one basically very important thing that you need to be successful in boxing or anything. He taught them discipline. It mattered because he cared. He cared about these kids. So he would have summer camps where he would give them books to read, and they have checkers or chess to play, give them warm meals. So to him, it wasn't letting kids beat the hell out of themselves. It was taking kids who were generally at risk and treating them like humans and shaping good young adults while teaching them the manly art of self-defense.
Time. We've had this conversation. I can't have this conversation with you. You're not going to fight if you're not going to punch. Do we understand each other? Box!
It was big. It was a really big gym. They had a dressing room. You had to go through a door at the back of the gym to get into the dressing room. They had a lot of lockers. They had a shower. Only one shower, so you waited your turn or you shared it. Now, we weren't into that, you know. So I had a large 20 by 20 ring. They had about 5 punching bags, heavy bags, a couple speed bags, all kinds of posters, as they have here on the walls, posters of past fights or upcoming fights. And the gym was always, especially after 4 o'clock, the gym was crowded.
There was always kids around, like young kids. Even the police back used to bring kids that did something wrong. Instead of taking them to the station, they said you have to put a month on Sully's gym, whatever. And that was going on all the time. He just liked kids. He tried to help them out, and even me.
Sully's gyms always kept people off the streets. They always have really good people that coach these kids. And I'd rather have them on here than on the street corners. A lot of kids can't afford to join the YMCA, or they can't afford to join these community centers. I mean, I don't know how how this gym even survives. I mean, they don't. If you haven't got it, they're not going to charge you. But it's a great refuge, a great place for kids to come off the street and to learn self-discipline. Boxing is great for learning self-discipline.
He passed away. What was it? 15 years ago, and he was pretty good shape. I don't know what happened. From one moment to the next, he just died. We had There was a lot of boxing people that came to the funeral, you know, like usually that's a good thing about the boxing community. They all stick together.
He lived a long life. He was very well loved by the city. And he made a major contribution to boxing, but to the city itself.
First thing I'd do if I saw him, I'd give him a big hug and say, thanks, man. You nasty son of a gun. Thank you for caring about me growing up, because he did. And for all the other kids, they love him. I mean, kids, you ask Nicky Furlano about him, he'd tell you. You ask Leroy Pink, you ask anybody that trained out of Sully's gym, they will tell you, you know, they have a deep affection for Sully underneath. Even people from other gyms. He was just hey, listen, there ain't many around like him anymore.